Hi, welcome back to another video. And before I get into the video, I want to apologize to anyone who watched my channel previous to this video because I have not uploaded in a solid 9 to 10 months. And yes, it is a long time. And it is because there was a lot of stuff going on that just prevented me from uploading anything, a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stressful and complicated things that were going on. However, now I am returning with this video and I am very eager and excited to get into it because this news kind of dropped earlier this morning. But anyways, like I said, I do apologize for that. But however, I am back to uploading. I will be uploading stuff related to obviously American politics and other stuff happening around the world. Maybe that stuff that isn't getting enough eyeballs on it as it should, and I think it should be, which is why I'd probably be uploading about it. But yeah, I am back and I will be uploading lots more, and I do again apologize for not uploading for a solid 9 to 10 months. However, what I will be talking about today is the 2024 autopsy report that was dropped by the DNC, the Democratic National Committee. This is a autopsy report that the Democratic Party voter base has been very eager and very excited to see released because ever since the 2024 results, the voter base within the Democratic Party has been very, very upset with the top leadership in the party, especially uh, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, and as well as the Democratic National Committee Chairman Ken Martin, who was the newly elected chairman in February of 2025. And this autopsy report has been something that has been it's been added pressure that has been pushed on by the newly elected chairman for about several months now, or maybe a year at this point. And it's been something he has constantly been pressured on. It has been something he has been constantly criticized for. And today, he released a statement saying that he was going to release the DNC 2024 autopsy report. And now it has been obtained, as you can see here, by CNN. So we will be getting into it because I think there's a lot to get in here and a lot to see, where the Democratic Party can go from here. There are a lot of people online, especially on the left, that are criticizing this autopsy report, saying it's pretty bad. There are some that are, sympathizing with Ken Martin, who is the DNC chairman. So it'll be interesting to see what it looks like from here, and you'll obviously get my opinion. So let's get into it. So as you can see from here, CNN is publishing a copy of a report into why Democrats lost the 2024 presidential election conducted at the request of Democratic National Committee Chairman Ken Martin. The version of the report, better known as 2024 Autopsy, was written by Democratic strategist Paul Revere. The DNC withheld the report until presented with CNN reporting about how much of its contents. The copy published by CNN, including annotations in red, the DNC added to its version of Rivero's report. CNN has not modified the report and does not vouch for the accuracy of any statements within the report or the DNC's annotations. You can click here for a report about how the autopsy was created based on interviews with 3 dozen campaign and party officials, as well as people familiar with the process, and CNN's takeaway from the reports are available here. So as you can see here, there were a lot of stuff that the people within the DNC, edited and made, maybe made some corrections or edits within the report, and so there's a lot to look at here. Now, as it was mentioned, the CNN does have the autopsy report here, and there are, as you can see, 192 pages of this. So there's a lot here, and obviously, I'm not going to spend an entire YouTube video going all over this. But as you can see already, there is look, there's disclaimers, there's edits, like no evidence was provided for this claim, which is insane. There's charts. There is a lot to go over, and I cannot, absolutely not, go over all of this in a YouTube video. I'd have to do a live stream if I wanted to go over and truly analyze all this because it's insane. But just going through it, I can see just a lot, there's a lot of corrections here. If this was a good autopsy report, then I don't think there'd be so many corrections. There is a lot here. This was poorly put together, in my personal opinion. Um And it kind of does make sense at the same time why Ken Martin was so why he was hesitant, really, why he wasn't, so eager to have this release, so comfortable with having this release. Because look, as I'm scrolling, you can see the corrections within every page. There's not a single page we are going by here that does not have a correction, which is absolutely insane. And you could probably see why the Democratic Party voter base is upset with leadership, because they had a year and a half, or honestly less at this point, to really get this thing together and get it out there, have it in the real mirror. And now we are like almost 2 years later since Ken Martin became chairman, and this thing is still barely put together. So the interesting thing I want to get at is, where is it here? We have takeaways from the report are available here. The most interesting thing I went over this morning, and what I really want to focus on here is not what's in the report, but where is it? What is not in the report? Where is it? Here we go. What wasn't included? This is what I was looking at. The report is silent on some of the biggest and potentially juiciest aspects of the 2024 campaign. That includes any judgment about Biden's decision to run again, the Warren gossip, which split Democrats, and the fact that Harris was allowed to take over the ticket without anything amounting to an electoral process for choosing a replacement. It doesn't weigh in on Harris' failure to do an interview with podcast host Joe Rogan, which many analysts have regarded as a major mistake. Now, as you can see here, these were some really big points in 2024 that even someone like as myself overlooked and completely missed, along with so many other political analysts, especially on the left, at which probably did ended up causing Kamala Harris to, lose the general election against Donald Trump. And the fact that this is missing isn't exactly going to be very satisfying for some people on the left, especially if you consider yourself or you identify with being, a leftist or a progressive leftist, or, you're saying, I'm far left on these issues. So if you are one of those people, you're not going to be happy about it all, especially with Gaza. There are many people on the left that didn't vote for Kamala Harris at all just over that one issue. It was, they were that passionate, and they were that passionate about the issue that they didn't like what Kamala Harris's stance was on the issue, so they didn't vote for her at all. They voted for like Joe Stein or some other third party person. So yeah, I went over this. I was like, not having these issues, I felt like, these were some of the biggest ones. Even the not going on the podcast host with Joe Rogan, a lot of political analysts were saying this was a mistake, and this possibly could have been what cost Kamala Harris to lose the election, because Joe Rogan at the time was the biggest podcaster in the country, possibly the world, and Kamala Harris refused to go on Joe Rogan while Donald Trump did. And in doing so, Donald Trump, other than Kamala Harris, got a lot of eyeballs, got a lot of attention. Maybe there were more clips made where Trump was able to get more attention. And overall, the interview went very well for Donald Trump, and it's possibly what Donald Trump could have. It's possibly what helped Donald Trump win the election. However, in my opinion, I think it's mainly just because not Democrats, voters were upset with the Biden administration. The prices were too high, and inflation was too high, and they kind of just soured as the party as a whole. I don't really think there was anything Kamala Harris really could have done to prevent that. I do believe maybe the war in Gaza probably was, something that also harmed them. There were a lot of split voting, um, and I don't know. I don't believe Joe Rogan was like completely the reason why Kamala Harris lost the election. It's probably a part of it, but it's very interesting to see that some of this like crucial information wasn't in the report at all. At all. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. So, yeah, this is what I found to be most interesting. I don't know about any of you, but there is a lot of other interesting stuff here. Um, there's like obviously many eras, which, like I've said before, this stuff was clearly like put together pretty quickly. And really not worked on as well. You can see they're going over some of the errors that I scrolled past to earlier, and yeah, there's stuff like retirement. Yeah, it's just it's crazy. There's a lot of criticism in this report against on Biden's team, um, even though it does not cover Biden's choice to run for reelection. And like that was a huge, like that's a huge takeaway. That was a huge reason why the Democrats were so nervous going into this election, because they believe Joe Biden was a very confident candidate. You know, he was going to win. He goes up on the debate stage, completely screws it up, and he's forced to drop out 3 weeks later. They put in Kamala Harris, and then by September or October, Kamala Harris goes in very, very comfortable. Well, she goes in by July, but by towards election day, Democrats are much more calm than they were like 2 months ago, and they're like, "We got this. We're gonna win this." You know, even though if Joe Biden messed up the debate, tanked in the polls, Kamala Harris took over. She saved it. We're gonna win. They go in, they lose the election, and they even lose Senate seats. They don't lose House seats though, which was amazing. But still, they lost states they shouldn't have been losing if this was going to be a very good election for them, which it wasn't. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this DNC autopsy report that very, very fascinating to look at, but stuff in there that like should be in there clearly, in my opinion, that wasn't. I don't know about anyone watching this what you thought about it. Maybe there was stuff in there that you thought should be in there or shouldn't be in there. Let me know about the comments. But anyways, that is the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. And I do promise to upload more. So yes, I will see you guys in the next video.